Hello, there, everybody, and welcome back to the Real Bros podcast. I'm your host, Logan Thomas, and with me, as always, is my most excellent co host,
Caden Green.
and together we are
The Real Bros.
Caden, we are finishing up our first franchise today.
Yeah.
We're sad to say it doesn't end on a high note.
No, I was just going to say that this is not a good end, at least in our eyes.
It has some good moments to it.
But overall, they're outweighed.
Yes. We are, of course, talking about Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny today. Disney's the only Indiana Jones film made under Walt Disney's control of Lucasfilm. And it kind of shows. Not in like a sense of like how Star Wars has been over the years, but like just it's hard to pinpoint because like there's not really anybody to blame for this movie being bad because like it's phenomenally directed.
The acting is incredible.
I think this is Harrison Ford's best acting in the entire series.
And I mean, not even Harrison Ford himself, but every actor in it.
Mm-hmm.
They did a phenomenal job.
Yeah.
Which that's something I don't want to undercredit them for.
Absolutely not. But
It's
like
just the way some of these roles are written, they're made to like you're supposed to support these characters, but you end up just disliking them in the end.
yeah, it's the dialogue is written terribly. Some of the characters I would say they're meant to be disliked and then you like them over time, but they've written them like to be so dislikable, like it's hard to get on that bandwagon by the time you're supposed to be liking the characters.
Yeah, by the time you're still liking the character, you're probably still feeling the same as when you were first introduced to him.
Yeah, and like, so the whole point this movie exists is because Harrison Ford wanted to do another one, and he wanted to see what Indiana Jones was like at the end of his life. That is the entire point of this movie. And like how, because this movie takes place in 1969 for the most part of the movie. And like in 1969, we were just coming off of the moon landing. The world was focused on the future back then. And this is a man who spent his entire life focusing on
the past.
And like he just completely gets like swept under the rug in almost every scene in this movie that he's in there with somebody.
He's always second hand despite being really the main character.
And like the biggest issue I have with this movie is like they really disrespect the character. And I'm not going to say I'm not guilty of this, but like we just kind of push our elders off to the side. You know what I mean? Well, we don't listen to them. We don't acknowledge how helpful they can be, that kind of situation. That is a big thing in this movie.
Yeah, like you'll start noticing that very quickly.
And like when I saw this movie in theaters, I loved it. But like the more times I watch it, the more I see the flaws. Because like the first time I watched it, I was like, okay, this is a good final hurrah for Indiana Jones. But then, like, after I watched all of them, and I saw this one, I was like, God.
See, I was the opposite. Dial of Destiny was actually the first full Indiana movie I had ever watched, and I disliked it. Because even as a first-time viewer of the entire series, I noticed immediately, like, from the clips I've seen, Indiana isn't supposed to be treated like this. The characters aren't supposed to be this horrid.
Yeah.
Like, when I first watched it, I was not supporting or cheering for any character on the side.
No. And, like, they sideline him so much because of his age. But, like, Harrison Ford wanted to do this.
Yeah.
Like, write the story on the fact that like, and like I do understand like they do acknowledge he's like almost 80 years old because he is, and like there's even a moment in the film where he's so self-aware. It's like, I'm 80 years old climbing up this wall. I don't even know what I'm doing here. Like that is a very, I love that scene. I love how self-aware it is. But like you can't just create an Indiana Jones movie and have it not have the flavor of Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
Because like, while Kingdom of the Crystal Skull is so disliked by so many people, and I I understand why some people could be disliking of that, and how people could be really disliking of this movie.
Yeah.
But like that still had the Indiana Jones flavor. And it is not because it has a different director. James Mangold did an amazing job directing this new movie. It felt like Logan. It felt like what's that? He's done a lot of movies, but like the most predominant one is Logan. And that feels like this kind of flavor. You're just showing a character
A final hurrah for
yeah,
this character that's
at
been
the
with us.
mm-hmm. And like that's the kind of flavor you get. But Logan is a very specific kind of movie that not every kind of movie character can have.
Yeah.
Because like I said, the direction, the script, there's potential there. This
Oh,
is just not the product we were looking for.
no.
And we're gonna get into the movie like we always do. We have a new segment we're introducing in this episode. At the end of every time we finish a franchise, we're gonna be doing what we are calling Real Bros Ranking. Where
R.
RBR. And we're gonna be each giving our own rankings, and we'll do that at the end of the episode. But yeah, I'm not saying I hate the movie, but it's just definitely not.
It's not.
It doesn't have high rewatchability.
No. And it's not because there's. You watch it once you see everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the characters drive you away so quickly.
And like, it's the movie in like the franchise that once you get there, you like dread putting it in.
Yeah.
It's like, and I'm gonna tell this story. I saw this movie in theaters for my birthday. I cried my eyeballs out on it because of certain scenes, and I'm pretty sure you know which ones I'm talking about. Vaguely. And then like this movie had like an 8-month period between theater and Blu-ray. And I have the 4K steelbooks of 1 through 4. There was like a whole ordeal getting me this steelbook. Like it came from Germany.
Oh, jeez.
And whatever. Like it was a whole thing. And like now that I watched it again, I was like, was it really worth
all of that trouble?
And it was a Christmas present too. So but
so yes, it was worth the trouble.
Yes, it was. But like
now you can say you can finish the collection.
I do.
Until the next one comes
out. Oh God. Harrison Ford has stated when he dies, Indiana Jones dies. Let's see if Disney honors those requests.
Probably not.
Unless he puts it in a will where it's legally binding, then maybe they can't. Who knows?
Disney finds loopholes.
If it helps, we're not sponsored by Disney.
Probably never will be, but let me give you a quick rundown. Steamboat Willie, the old animated cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
He was supposed to, from what I remember, come into public domain years ago. But they kept renewing the license, finding loopholes to allow them ownership of it for longer.
Yeah, they made like 4 or 5 animated shorts using Steamboat Willie, and that was it.
And anytime anybody used it, immediately they would get struck by a DMCA, I think that's what it's called.
Some kind of copyright claim.
But eventually Disney just couldn't keep it up.
Oh
And I think
yeah,
over like 100 years later.
yeah, because in like 10 years, Superman becomes in the public domain.
Yep. And I will actually look that up real quick while I'm thinking
Um,
about it.
on that note, um, this I do there is something before we get into it I want to talk about. This
Okay.
movie has the use of AI in it in a very good way. The first 20 minutes of this film
Mm,
is a flashback sequence, and that's honestly like my favorite part of the whole movie is this flashback sequence.
it's a very good sequence.
Um, it it is set between the events of Raiders and Last Crusade in between Last Crusade and Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. My bad. Um, and they used archived footage from Lucasfilm archives, and they used an AI program to match the footage to Harrison Ford's acting. So it's essentially a deep fake.
But reverse. Instead of it being the face, it's the background.
Yeah. And so like they used actual footage on his face instead of CGIing his face.
Okay,
They
that's
used an AI to match his acting to archive footage.
okay. That's actually really cool
And that is why I think it's some of the best looking de-aging around.
because it's not really de-aging when you think about it.
It's essentially just using stock footage. And
Exactly.
Harrison Ford has stated they have like enough footage of him to make like 80 Indiana Jones movies. But we can all be glad that the franchise is moving forward in the video game medium.
Yes.
Machine Games had a big, big win with Great Circle a few years ago. It's one of my favorite video games. Honestly, if we ever get started on doing video games,
Which we will
we will.
eventually.
I do want to do Indiana Jones and the Great Circle.
That will be all you.
That's understandable.
Unless you want me to play it because you've already done so.
I think, well, we'll get there when we get there.
Yeah.
I will probably play it because I have beat the game like 2 or 3 times. But we do want to throw that out there because we love Indiana Jones around here.
We do.
Caden, do you want to take us through your quick review?
Very quick review. Old man Indiana Jones reunites with his estranged goddaughter, who betrays him, doesn't betray him.
It's a very gray
It's a
area on that character.
coin flip on what you want to decide. But eventually, they unite to team up to retrieve an item known as the Archimedes dial
Or the Antikythera, or the Dial of Destiny.
from the Nazis.
What a surprise, the Nazis are back.
Yeah.
That's another thing about this movie that I don't like, is how they handled the Nazis. They treat them like they're secret organization bull crap. Like, I get it. They're Nazis in America in the 60s. Like, I get it.
I mean, if you really want to think about it, during the time frame when everybody else is thinking about moving to the moon, a few Nazis here and there sneaking about aren't going to go on anybody's radar.
And it is kind of cool that they bring in the fact of, like, there were some Nazi scientists that immigrated to America, that we granted them freedom and use of their knowledge. They kind of brought that up in this movie. I like that fact.
That's an actual fact.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's not like the only cool thing about it. I didn't understand the whole CIA changement thing. I don't. It's a It's a thing.
Have a theory about that, but we'll get to it when we discuss more.
Okay. Have you found Superman yet?
1934, so we are a little under 8 years away, but that is for the original release of night.
So Action Comics #1.
Correct. That is before he has the ability to fly. That is before any of his supervillains, and that is before Kryptonite.
So essentially, you get a guy in tights
Yes.
that can lift heavy things.
But as time goes on, from what I understand, more and more of him will enter the public domain.
Eventually, everything will enter the public domain. Because,
Yes.
like, I know within the next 20 years, Batman, which is like in like Detective Comics number whatever it is, that version of Batman will be in the public domain.
A lot of like the big time superheroes at this point in time are gonna start entering the public domain.
Yeah.
In which we're gonna see a lot more fan content, which is going to be cool.
I mean, like, and like, here's the thing: there is already so many fan films of things, like on YouTube or whatever, and like they can do it, but they have to be like very upfront that like they're not sponsored. There's no money being made off of it. And like I've noticed that DC is a lot more open to it than Marvel is, because there is like countless Batman fan films, and all of those fan films are almost fantastic level and quality.
See, from what I've seen, Marvel, like pre Disney,
Mm-hmm.
was pretty lenient on that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like, it's more about making money off of what doesn't belong to them.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not making money from it, they could care less.
Mm-hmm. And that's kind of like how there's been like so many Friday the 13th fan films. Well, like the franchise has been in legal loops for the past 10 plus years, and the only way we've gotten any form of Friday the 13th content is by fan films.
Correct.
And like now that they've finally acquired it, like some kind of level ground, you know, this side can use Jason, but they can't use Camp Crystal Lake. And on this side, they can use Camp Crystal Lake, but they can't use Jason.
Right.
And technically, they can only use like a specific version
Iteration.
of Jason.
Yeah.
That franchise is one of the biggest clusters of legal issues I've ever seen.
The last thing I want to say about this whole spiel that we somehow got into,
Mm-hmm.
whenever something goes into public domain, you are going to see a skyrocket of material
Mm-hmm.
that you can no longer be taken down.
Oh.
And sometimes that is phenomenal content. Like,
Unfortunately, we cannot say that for the Steamboat Willie content.
I don't know. There's a couple Steamboat Willie horror games came out,
Oh,
and they were good.
I know last year we got Popeye the Slayer Man. Oh, Lord.
Let's not think about that.
Or the Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey movies. I've still yet to see the second one.
I don't plan on seeing either. All right.
All right. Are we ready to get into
Production Tales. Live with Logan.
Hello there, Bill. I'm coming at you live from the scene. I do want to say that most of this we pretty much already have talked about. Like how there was originally supposed to be 5 movies back in the 1979 when they first got the script drafted and they went into production of it, and it fell through because George Lucas didn't want to do it, and then yada yada. We've talked about this, a few times.
Yeah.
Once Disney bought Lucasfilm, Kathleen Kennedy was like, "We're gonna bring you another Indiana Jones project." And pretty much, and it's because certain people felt like Kingdom of the Crystal Skull was not a definitive ending enough for the character.
Right.
I feel like it was
Oh, absolutely.
because it gives him the ultimate happy ending that the character can get. And I feel like they undo that by this movie. Um, and in 2016, they announced the film will be released in 2019 with Harrison Ford returning
Okay.
and Steven Spielberg directing the movie.
Okay.
Um, it doesn't really say what the original iteration of the film's MacGuffin would be, which is like the
Secret item that
yes.
nobody could explain.
It doesn't say what that one would have been, but it does say that David Koepp and Steven Spielberg were writing the script for that iteration. In 2017, the film's release date got pushed back, and Steven Spielberg was working on Ready Player One and The Post.
Very good movie, Ready Player One.
I think we're supposed to be getting a second one.
Ooh, Ready Player Two.
It's because there's like 3 books.
Mm.
And there was a couple other screenwriters that went back and forth. I think they wanted to do something with John Krasinski. I think they talked to him about writing a draft because he did A Quiet Place in between those points in time, and he didn't do it. And in 2019, in 2020, Spielberg stepped down as director, and he offered it to James Mangold.
Okay.
He respects everything. James Mangold's a great director. He did Ford versus Ferrari, Logan, The Wolverine, 310 to Yuma. It's a Western.
Oh, I was gonna say I've never heard of that one.
He's done a lot of Western-esque stories. He did, excuse me. He did Walk the Line, the Johnny Cash movie.
Okay.
He just did the Bob Dylan movie a couple years ago. I love that movie. Like I said, I really like his catalog. He's a great director. He was a producer on The Call of the Wild remake that Harrison Ford was in.
Okay.
And that's how they met. So they'd work together, so they have a kind of connection there. Excuse me. And after 2020, Koepp departed the project after Steven Spielberg left the project, and at that point, COVID-19 hit, and at that point, Mangold was working on A Complete Unknown, which is the Bob Dylan movie, and so all that shut down. And during that time, that's when Mangold created the script, and he wanted to use time travel as kind of a way to tell,
kind of to give a prologue.
it's more
right?
of the way I see it is it's more of perspective, as like you have this guy who's dedicated his life to history,
Okay.
and then like with like the prospect of being able to see that history, I can see how, because like Indiana Jones and time travel, that sounds like it'd be a cool movie.
Oh, absolutely.
Like Indiana Jones being able to see like the building of the pyramids, the siege of Syracuse,
The landing of the aliens.
it'd be a cool tie-in to Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
You know he would be fanatical to see all of that.
Especially with like the archaeological implications of that the aliens had
Oh yeah,
in Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
they had an entire civilization.
And so he always had Nazis as the villain,
Right.
because I guess you can't have an Indiana Jones film without Nazis, I suppose.
Even though 2 and 4 didn't. Kind of.
You just can't have a plethora of extras in Nazi uniforms. Even though we get that in the first part of the movie. I think that's why it feels like the first 20 minutes of this movie is the most Indiana Jones the movie gets.
Because it's Indiana Jones fighting some Nazis.
Being quippy, actually using the whip. He only uses the whip like once in this movie.
And that was in the flashback, right?
No. Sorry, twice. In the flashback and in a in like a bar fight scene. And
that's right.
it.
And that is very disappointing because there are two things Indiana Jones is known for.
The hat
Uh-huh.
and the whip.
Uh-huh. The hat, why? I can't remember him with the hat for the most part.
That's because like the first 40 minutes of him being old in like the modern story, he doesn't wear it. Because you got to remember, it takes him like so long for that first New York section of the story to actually get to like globe trotting.
Right.
That's why, like, and this movie is 2 hours and 2.5 hours long. This is the longest Indiana Jones movie, and you can feel it. There's like maybe 3 or 4 action set pieces. The rest is just like dialogue and like looking at stuff. It is a very slow movie.
Yeah.
The only reason why it feels so like it moves so well is because there is so much that they put into this movie.
Oh, yeah.
Because like you have like this quest over here, and then we gotta go like wait, we gotta come back over here to do this quest before we can hit over here.
And let's not forget the side quest and the branching side quest to the side quest.
It is literally like trying to figure out a large scale Resident Evil puzzle in a movie.
Yeah.
Like literally.
It's not horrible, but it's not the greatest either.
Ugh. And Caden's gonna be sad about this part. There was a draft where the movie was about Indy and Short Round.
Oh, are you serious?
That would be the movie.
Yeah, because I brought this up to you before, but one time Harrison Ford went to like a movie premiere,
Mm-hmm.
and
It was for Everything Everywhere All at Once, I think.
that's what it was. And the guy that played Short Round was there,
Yeah, because he's in the movie.
and Harrison Ford immediately recognized him.
Because he like stepped away from acting for like 20 years. Then
Yeah.
his first role, he comes back, he wins Best Supporting Actor at the Oscars.
Yeah, which is crazy.
And like I've seen the video that you're talking about, and the first thing he says is, "You call him Dr. Jones."
It's just so sweet to see them interacting. I wish we could have seen that in a movie again after so long.
The reason they didn't do that is because they wanted a companion for Indy who would challenge him. Yeah.
See, that's dumb. Because technically, Mutt was extremely smart
Mhm.
to the point where he could have challenged Indy.
And like he was challenging. There was pushback in certain sections. But like don't make the character be like, "Hey, I'm better than you at this." Even though like, "Hey, I've discovered, let's see, the Ark of the Covenant. I've discovered the Holy Grail. I've seen aliens. I've survived human sacrifice."
Yeah. See, if we would have gotten Mutt again, we could have seen him possibly outgrow the greaser stage,
Mhm.
become his own archaeologist with the same kind of skill as Indy has.
And like openly in Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, they talked about how Mutt was book smart. Like he loved history. He just didn't like the school setting. That was his big issue.
Which honestly, a flashback for that movie could have been Indy and Mutt exploring the world. And then here's a quick rundown of what it would have been. Indy and Mutt exploring the world, Mutt learning history, flash forward 20 years to the present for them. Mutt's his own archaeologist. Indy's doing his own thing. You know, they come together and they start kind of bickering but not fighting about
It's father-son stuff.
exactly about what to do with this dial. That's the best course of action that could have happened following the dial part.
Yeah.
And I would have loved that movie. I would have watched it over and over again.
It would have rivaled Kingdom of the Crystal Skull for me.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. We're going to get to the numbers now.
Okay.
Production budget of this movie was $419 million.
Okay.
Literally among some of the most expensive movies ever made.
Okay.
How much do you think this movie grossed worldwide?
500 million. Way lower.
It underperformed.
200 million. 300 million?
It only grossed $384 million.
Oh.
After factoring in theater cuts and marketing, estimates suggest the film lost over $100 to $250 million for Disney.
Oh, no. That's not good.
The film failed to break even, requiring much higher gross than the movie needed to make it at least $600 million to cover complete costs of the movie.
Oh. So
And
they
And it is
really-
considered one of the biggest box office bombs in history.
I don't entirely agree with that. I'm sure there's something more.
Oh, yeah. I think it's just because, one, it's Disney, and two, we're talking Disney numbers here.
Yeah.
Because they feel like they need to pour billions upon billions of dollars into making a movie good.
Yeah.
But, like, then you get into, like, Avatar kind of problems. Like, how do you expect to keep making these movies better and better when they're only going to keep getting bigger and bigger, and Avatar keeps setting the numbers so high? How do you expect to attain those numbers?
You physically can't.
That's why James Cameron was like, if this movie doesn't make bank, he's done.
Right.
Because, like, he can't keep pushing those boundaries because Disney's not going to let it happen.
No.
Because, like, you know, everybody's going to show up for an Avatar movie, but after a while, the movies just are very repetitive.
Yeah.
And, like, that's why I didn't bother to go see Fire and Ash in theaters, because I heard it was essentially Way of Water all over again. And, like, and the way James Cameron said he did it is like, Way of Water and Fire and Ash are meant to be like one connective story.
Right.
Whereas 4 and 5 is like its own connected story. That's why he said if it ends at this one, he'd be content with it. And, like, they still haven't said anything about continuing the franchise. I guarantee it's going to be long after home video comes out, which we are still waiting on to happen.
Right.
So, but that's like one of the things, the big issues with Disney business. Like, they only want to make sure they're making Disney money. So if we have nothing else to add, are we ready to get into the movie?
I have something to add. Very important.
Go ahead.
2 things. A. I did not like this movie. B. This movie really didn't do anything for me, to the point where I can't remember anything that happened for the most part. And it just led me to write down no notes. I apologize if I was really loud there. My mic was really close. but I had no notes written down because it just felt like it didn't matter. Like at the end of the day, it's
It's a very hollow movie.
it is. Like normally I'm like, "Oh yeah, this is such a good movie, something you can turn your brain off to and just relax." I wouldn't even have this on as background music. I genuinely dislike this movie.
I would watch like the first 20 minutes, then I'd probably turn it off. Like that's it, just to get a genuine Indiana Jones adventure out of.
Yeah. I
Because like here, I'm before we get into this, I want to throw this comparison out there. Indiana Jones is supposed to be George Lucas and Steven Spielberg's James Bond, right?
okay.
There are now 25 or so James Bond movies, all with different actors. There's no linear storytelling whatsoever, right?
Okay.
They could theoretically do that with Indiana Jones. But when you have a character that is played so iconically, like Harrison Ford,
You can't switch it.
you can't switch it, and you can't be able to do 20 or 30 of them because, one, just time,
Yeah.
and the actor only being able to do so much.
That's why Wolverine, he is there's been many opportunities for Hugh Jackman to be replaced by somebody else. Even in the most recent Deadpool movie. But it's still been Hugh Jackman.
It's because, one, nobody has the stones to fill in that role,
Yeah.
and two, nobody that we know of could do the role that well.
I don't know.
Okay, there could be a handful of actors, but that doesn't mean they're going to step up and do it.
Another role that I kind of agree with, kind of don't. Henry Cavill as Superman. He makes sense as a general Superman.
He makes sense as that kind of Superman, as that kind of Elseworlds
He
type
had
Superman.
he has potential to be an overall good Superman, but the Superman he's portrayed as flawless. As a regular good-hearted Superman, I can't see it,
That's why we have David Cornsweet Superman.
and I love it. Now, the final thing I want to mention for this movie review from here on out, I will probably not be talking much due to the fact I cannot remember the movie.
I think it's cool if you don't want to remember the movie.
It's some kind of mental block. It's like, don't remember it. You really don't
It's
want
just
to.
pure trauma, and there's just a trauma wall in there.
Like, I'm maybe 2-3 scenes at most I remember.
And those are probably like the best parts of the movie.
Probably.
But anyway, to finish off what I was saying, there is a world where you could make 20 or 30 Indiana Jones movies. And there are actors out there that I feel like could take on the role. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But nobody is going to do it like Harrison Ford. And Harrison Ford loves the character so much that he doesn't want to part with it. And so that kind of puts them in the spot of which, like, you can only make a few of them because, one, the body can only take so much and he liked to do so many of his own stunts.
Right.
And two, there's only so much in, like, a life you can tell without it just being a bunch of different little adventure serials that are non-canonical or whatever and that don't connect in any way or shape or form.
Right.
But then, like, I don't know. They made a character where they could do that, and instead of doing that, they tried to do long form storytelling with the character, and they kind of put themselves in a corner, and nobody wants to get out of that corner because that would involve recasting, and Harrison Ford doesn't want anybody else to do Indiana Jones. So the only thing they can do now is to fill in gaps between a certain age of his and when he dies.
Yeah.
And like, I understand there's probably a lot of adventures and there's lots of gaps in there you could fill in with, because like obviously they're able to do it with video games now. But like, there's only so much you can fill in when you put yourself in like that kind of space.
Yeah.
And like, I'm not saying I hate it, but like, that really cuts them off. And like, there's books and there's comics and everything like that, non-canonical of course, but like in any other way, shape, or form, it's going to have to be the likeness of Harrison Ford.
Oh, absolutely.
And I have high hopes for what Machine Games is doing.
Yeah, because from the high praise you've given Golden Circle or
The
whatever,
Great Circle.
Great Circle, I I would have great hopes for, or high hopes for it too.
Because like, you've seen me do gameplay.
I've seen you struggle with gameplay.
That's any video game.
You're not wrong, which is where I come in.
But yeah, that's just what I wanted to say. Like, there is a what if in there, or we could have like 20 or 30 Indiana Jones movies.
Theoretically, would they be as good? No.
No, they would not be as character rich. They'd just be different actors and different female leads. There'd be like no real connection, no overarching story to give those characters. It'd be essentially very much like James Bond.
Which there's nothing wrong with James Bond. It's just
James Bond is good at being spy, like that sexy action spy thriller kind of thing.
James Bond is good at being James Bond.
Indiana Jones cannot compete long term with James Bond.
No.
But I digress. I just wanted to say my piece. Are we ready to get into the movie so we can get this over with?
Yes, we're ending on a low note. So let's get lower.
How low can you go?
Not very low. I got a bad back.
Same. All right, guys. From here on, spoiler alert. Even though there's not much here to spoil, but I take that back. There's like one or two things to spoil. But
I hate to say it, but
you're
if
not
you
missing
haven't-
much.
if you haven't seen it already and you still want to, pause the podcast now. Go check it out.
And more power to you, by the way, if you want to actively seek out this movie. Like, I don't want to make it sound like we're hating on it, but
I am.
Oh, well.
Logan, not so much, but I personally, I'm hating on the movie.
All right, guys, let's get into it. The movie begins in World War II. We're not really given a date or a year. My guess is 1945 because they've mentioned that Hitler was defeated. Hey, you try saying Hitler was defeated 5 times fast.
Hitler was defeated. Hitler was defeated. Hitler was defeated. Hitler was defeated. Hitler was defeated.
Wow.
Yeah, you want to try that again?
No, I'm all right. We find Indy is captured by the Nazis. He is at a it doesn't say where he is at all. It just says, "Hey, Germany, Nazis, Indy's captured."
Put the puzzle together yourself.
And apparently he is looking for artifacts. I do want to have a little side note on this. I don't remember if it was this season or last season when we were talking about Indiana Jones, but there is a movie called The Monuments Men. That movie is a true story about, essentially Hitler and the Nazis were stealing precious artifacts, smuggling them, making money off of them.
Okay.
And there was a unit of, there's like an artist, a sculptor, Um, pretty much anybody, an architect, pretty much anybody who deals with art, all that kinds of stuff, artifacts, anything like that.
Okay.
They were sent in behind enemy lines to find and recover these items.
Okay.
And that is a lot of what Indiana Jones was based on.
Hmm.
In like what they like say his wartime efforts were, because he was a colonel in the U.S. military.
Okay.
This sequence essentially tells us what Indy did in the war. He went behind enemy lines, he sought out artifacts, and tried to save precious history. That was what Indy did during World War II. And I'm glad we finally got to see like what his efforts were,
Yeah.
because it's kind of cool.
Just the whole concept of doing that is something cool.
But yeah, if anybody is curious, check out that movie. I would highly recommend it. It is a great movie. It's got Bill Murray, John Goodman, George Clooney, Matt Damon in it. Fantastic movie. But the Nazis have discovered the Lance of Longinus. Anybody who doesn't know what that is, it has many names. The Lance of Longinus, the spear tip that cut Jesus on the cross, or the Spear of Destiny, depending on if you're reading comic books or not. um, and Nazis have like paintings, gold, all this other kinds of stuff, and they're loading it on a train to steal it and finally get some money off of it. Because all these Nazis are going to have to go into hiding here soon. And Indy's captured. He was looking for the lance. And they're trying to hang him.
Oh.
And he does his Indy thing where he insults them. He's being a wisecracking guy. And a bomb falls through the ceiling. And it like lands on the floor. And it just like slowly sinks into the floorboards. And it falls like 10 stories. Then it explodes.
Which I talked to you about that
Mm-hmm.
because I was confused if it was like a contact bomb or a timer bomb.
Or a dud.
Yeah.
Either way, if somebody was standing where that bomb hit,
Not anymore.
toast.
Because how much would you say that bomb weighed?
I would say at least easily 100 pounds.
You think just that little?
I said at least.
Mm.
But like, you heard the thud that bomb made when it hit that floor. It was like, boom.
So I would have to say anywhere from 200 to 300 pounds.
That's probably the more accurate range, but like, it's at
Because-
least the 3 digits.
Because it smashes through the roof and gets stopped by the first floorboard.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's heavy enough that it keeps sinking down.
Yeah, it also doesn't help that like the building's already kind of on fire or like,
Dilapidated.
Mhm.
Yeah.
from the bombings and everything. But,
You know, throw one more bomb on there. Safe measure.
Sir, are you sure? We gotta make sure they're all dead. It worked. So congratulations.
Your aiming was a little off, but your timing was impeccable.
We archaeologists, thank you very much. And so then Indy escapes and he steals a car. You were like, this part you had something to say about, because he punches the guy in the window, then he just throws him out on the ground.
Oh! You're bringing it up and I'm remembering it. Because what happens is, you know, he knocks out the driver, pulls him out of the car, and then, oh, here comes whatever his name is, Jurgen Mergen.
No, it's like some form of Nazi high command officer, and they just get in the backseat.
Like the Nazi commander gets in on the side where the dude's body is just laying on the ground.
And he just says, "Dive."
Which actually, thinking about it, the commander might have just thought it was a dead body that died near the car.
That's possible. But at this point, we see a character who is played by Toby Jones. hiding in the bushes, and he is taken captive. Indy wrecks the car and steals a motorcycle in classic Indy fashion. And he chases the train and hops on the train. And this point is when we get to hear the main theme a little bit. And like when I was watching this movie in the theaters, this part like had me. I was like, oh man, we're getting like an Indiana Jones movie from the 80s in 2023. Like, okay.
And then you're disappointed.
And then reality just slaps you in the face.
Like, no, you thought wrong, silly.
We didn't have the money to make it all like this.
Would have been cool.
We learn that Toby Jones' character name is Basil Shaw, and that him and Indy are archaeologists, and they're here to save history. That's what he tells the main Nazi bad guy at this point.
Because there are multiple of them.
Yes.
Multiple as in 2?
Yes. So the second Nazi villain is a mathematician named Jürgen Voller. And he is the main villain of the film. And he tells this Nazi general, I'm assuming, that the lance is fake. It's a reproduction.
Oh yeah, you're right on that.
And Dr. Voller has half of Archimedes' dial. He's like, tell Hitler that I have this thing. This thing is science. This thing is not magic. And the guy pretty much just goes off on him in German. Like the most Nazi way you can, I guess. And at this point, Indy's doing like a bunch of his like sneaky, like it's hard to even like really just like.
He's sneaking around. What he does best.
Yeah, and he finds Baz, and he puts his outfit on for the first time in the movie. And then you get more of the theme song. And then they go to escape. And then he meets Dr. Voller.
And just knocks him out. Dr. Voller does nothing. He just looks at Indy. Indy takes his hat off, puts it in his face, and delivers the most disgusting right hook I have ever seen.
It is so Indy. It's amazing.
It's very on brand, and I love it, but that'll knock out so many of your teeth.
The worst part is this is the last like real punch Indy throws.
Yeah.
In the movie.
Which is definitely a shame.
Okay, I wouldn't say it's the last punch he throws. It's like the last like I would say like iconic level Indiana Jones punch.
The last one that really matters.
That's fair.
Yeah.
And so they escape. They get on the roof of the train, and at this point, we have a boss battle on the train.
I hate that that's how you describe it.
The German general, colonel, whatever. They never really give him a name or a title.
He's just a guy.
He's boss general. He's boss German. That's what we're gonna call him. He has the lance as like a knife, and him and Indy get into it like how it usually happens, I guess you could say. And then Baz, which is what his nickname is, he's just like laying there, and Indy's like, "Why aren't you helping?" And he like knocks the guy's gun out of his hand. He kicks it to Baz. He's like, "Well, shoot him." Then he accidentally shoots Indy.
Did he actually shoot him? I thought he just...
Yeah, it ricocheted off the top of the train and hit Indy in the forearm.
Oh.
And he's like, "Not me."
See, I always thought he just like barely missed him.
It confirms later on in the movie that he did in fact shoot him. So you have that to look forward to, I suppose.
Yeah.
But they do like some Wolverine top of speed train type things in this sequence where like the general guy like pushes Indy up while they're underneath a tunnel, and he like grinds his jacket up against the roof of the mountain or whatever.
Worst acupuncture ever.
Just a little bit. Um, he like whips him and stuff. Then he gets start getting choked by him. Then Baz finally shoots him and falls off the train. Then the train gets bombed, and then they have to like jump off. And Baz is like, "What about my dicky knee?" Like the greatest line delivery ever. So straight face. Like, how can I jump my dicky knee? I love the British, man. They're so good.
I love his character. It was very interesting.
He's so unique and so weird that he's fun to watch.
Oh, absolutely.
I think that might just be Toby Jones. I'm not entirely sure, but whatever. And we learned that Indy took. Oh, I did miss a part. Sorry. Right before the train gets bombed, Dr. Voller shows up on the edge of the train and has them at gunpoint. And he's like, "Give me the Antikythera," which is Archimedes' dial. And Indy throws him a bag, and then before you know it, Indy gets tripped by a water tunnel, like a water pipe for like those water towers that sit on the side of train tracks.
Oh, yeah, he doesn't get tripped by it.
It like hits the back of his leg or whatever. And something happens. Dr. Voller gets a face full of freaking pipe at train speeds.
If he didn't lose any teeth when Indy hit him, he lost teeth from that.
Somehow he didn't lose life.
Yeah.
And then he shows up later on in the movie and he's like, no scarring whatsoever. Like, bro, come on. Like, your cheeks aren't made of steel. Like, come on.
I don't know. His jawline says otherwise.
It is Mads Mikkelsen, so
Yeah.
that's fair enough. But after that, it cuts to 1969 with a Beatles
Mm-hmm.
I forget the term. Needle drop. Sorry. A Beatles needle drop. And it's almost like a jump scare too, because we find old Indy sleeping in a chair in his boxers and socks.
I mean, hey, when you become a grandpa, you can do what you want.
That's true. And at this point, he is an angry old grandpa. He's like yelling at his neighbors, telling him to turn the music down. He's like, "It's a work day. Come on." He's like, "Sir, it's Moon Day." And he's like, "Moon Day?"
What is Moon Day?
And I guess it is the day that the guys from the moon landing are having a Tinker Tape parade in New York, I guess is where he is.
It's a very interesting event to watch.
It is. And I really love how they captured the 60s vibe of the New York sequence. Like everywhere else it feels like eh.
Like, in this scenario, in this setting, you can see so much color,
Mm-hmm.
but the world still feels not right.
Like kind of like how Fantastic Four First Steps feels,
Mm-hmm.
but like
Realistic.
yeah. Sadly. We learn by papers that Marion has filed for divorce.
Yeah.
We're not sure why. Indy is no longer the I forget what title he had received.
Dean?
Yeah, like vice dean or something like that. A higher up at the college he was. But now he is just an archaeology professor at Hunter University in New York. He lives in a small apartment. He like goes like a coffee shop, on his way. He takes the subway to work every day, that kind of thing. And his class is like so depressing to watch.
Which honestly makes sense. You know, you got this guy that's been doing this kind of job for however long he's been doing
At
it,
least 30 years.
if not longer. Because I would say longer, because he's been doing that most of his life, correct?
His entire life has been about archaeology because of one, his dad,
Yeah.
and traveling world like with the way the show, the Chronicles of Young Indiana Jones or whatever it's titled or whatever, but like history has been like the entire reason of his life. And then you have him teaching it and he still loves it and everybody's like space, or they're just like, what is this guy talking about? It's like, and this is where my biggest issue for the movie kicks in: lack of respect.
Because realistically, at this point in time, Indy is still a well known archaeologist. He wouldn't just die out without anybody noticing.
And like, and there is a woman in this class who's answering all the questions he's asking the class. And he's like, this will be on the final. And everybody's like,
What
what?
final? What are you talking about, Grandpa?
And then they bring in a TV and they're like, the astronauts are here. And Indy literally just like walks.
Yeah, he just starts packing up his stuff.
And this is really when I start getting angry. He's like, this is how sad it is. Like, come on. We had a nice ending in 4, and this is what they're giving us.
Yeah, it's not good.
And then we realize it's his last day. It's his retirement day. And they were like, he's been here like 10 years or something like that. And they give him a clock.
It's a clock.
Yes.
When I saw that, I thought it was an hourglass.
No, it was a clock.
That is so disappointing.
And I love how as soon as he leaves, he gives it to a homeless person. And then we see he's being followed by this woman that was in his class. And we see Indy is clearly an alcoholic at this point. His coffee is mostly
Whiskey.
whiskey.
Or something similar.
Either way, it is a higher alcohol percentage.
Which, to be fair, wasn't he sort of an alcoholic before, or no?
Mm-mm. Like back then, drinking was different than it is now. It was like casual kind of thing. Like it was proper. But this is just like, I hate my life. um, and this woman approaches him in a bar, and he's like, "What are we drinking to?" He's like, "I'm retiring."
He's just, it's not Indy. No matter how you look at it at this point, it's not him.
There is like, the only reason why you could say there's like a shred of him in there is because it's Harrison Ford,
Yeah.
and like, because like it's so weird to see him like so hopeless. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like so depressed, so like with no will of life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so we realize that this is his goddaughter, Helena Shaw, the daughter of Basil Shaw, who his nickname for is Wombat, I guess.
Interesting name, but, you know, to each their own.
And she tells him that she just finished her thesis for archaeology, and her thesis was about the Antikythera. And Indy's like, that, huh? And he keeps asking her, "Do you remember the last time I saw you?" She's like, "No, why?" And she's like, "I think I know where the other half is with this other thing. It's called the Graphicos. It tells where the other half of the dial is and where she thinks it is or whatever." And that Indy had the dial in World War II and he lost it somewhere in France where that train exploded. And Indy takes her back to the college and shows. Make sure I'm not skipping anything here. Nope. Referencing the notes.
Always got to do that.
Well, it's just like this movie is edited so weird, especially in this first half where it bounces between like the Nazis and stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm sure in between the bar, we meet Dr. Schmidt, who is Jurgen Voller.
Jurgen Mergen.
He immigrated to America, and he is the scientist that put the men on the moon. And he is working with. He has like 2 or 3 henchmen. They really don't have names. If they do, they're like extremely forgettable. And there is an African American CIA agent. I forget where her name is. Like, that's the thing. All these characters, they're completely forgettable.
Yeah. Now, I want to discuss this little part because we were talking about it earlier. Why the CIA is kind of helping him.
Because I think it's like a deal.
His knowledge for what he wants, which I think they discussed earlier, is like, hey, you help me, I help you.
Yeah.
I don't really see you guys having much of a choice in the matter.
Yeah, because he's like supposed to get a medal from the president and stuff and everything.
Mhm.
Like, I guarantee you it was a deal. Like, I put your men on the moon and I get this.
Yeah. Like, he gets funding,
Yeah.
I think is what it was.
And so we realize that they've been tracking Helena Shaw for a while, and that they spotted her, and they're looking into who Indy was, and of course, Jurgen Mergen realizes like, hey, this is the man that stole my diet from me all those years ago. I don't know why he's French, but
I don't know why the accent.
I don't know. I just kind of went with it.
I don't think he really has an accent either.
He sounds like Mad Mikkelsen. There's not even any German in there. Like, I mean, yeah, he speaks German in the first part, but after that, it's just like purely Mads Mikkelsen. But whatever. I love Mads Mikkelsen. He's a great actor.
He is.
Then we find Indy and Wombat at the college in like his collections room or whatever, his archive. And he talks about that Baz thought that the mathematics of the dial predicted fissures in time.
Interesting, especially considering the guy made said dial how long ago?
It was like, I forget. It was
long
it
ago.
was like the BCs, I think, I
Mhm.
believe. Whenever Archimedes was alive, for all you history nerds out there.
Around that time frame.
Yeah, somewhere's in there. And then Helena mentions, I knew you wouldn't get rid of it. And Indy's like, how'd you know I had it? She's like, what? And he's like, you do remember that last night I saw you. She's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And obviously she's being extremely suspicious at this point.
Yeah.
And at this point, she betrays him. The Nazis show up, and she locks him in a room with them, and she escapes with half of the dial. And half the Nazis go after her, and Indy does some Indiana Jones things. He hits one guy in the face with like a stepladder, and he knocks a bunch of metal bookcases over on top of a big guy, and a guy in arm and crutches, I think, is a CIA agent, I believe.
No, he was a Nazi as well.
The guy in the crutches was?
No, you're right. I was thinking of the other guy.
Oh, the big guy?
Nope. Smaller guy.
Oh. Like I said, there's not really any real names for any of these characters.
They have names, but here's how you can describe them. Big Nazi, little Nazi, brainiac Nazi.
Pretty much.
Unfortunately, that's all I remember them by.
It's pretty sad, but it is what it is. Um, then there's a rooftop chase, and the parade is going on, and I think this is like one of the cooler action sequences.
Oh, absolutely.
Indy on a horse during a Tinker Tape parade
Being chased by a motorcycle.
by a motorcycle.
It is very cool.
And Harrison Ford did all the horse stuff himself. He insisted on it.
Which makes sense. He's been doing this kind of stuff for how long?
About 30, 40 years.
Yeah.
And he even gets the horse on a subway, like racing against trains and stuff.
Yeah.
That part's a little disbelievable, but you know what? It's an Indiana Jones movie. You know, come on. We can roll with it.
We're going to acknowledge time travel, but not a horse being able to ride on a subway.
Just outrun him. You know, it makes total sense.
Because how fast would you say a train in that time would go?
I'd say at least 90 miles an hour.
So definitely faster than a horse.
Not this horse. This horse is just really good at quick time events.
I hate you for that.
But it's true. But the CIA has labeled Indy a murderer because the Nazis killed some people at the college.
It was like 2 or 3 of the teachers that were there, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was like the people who were at his retirement party or whatever. And this guy notices him, and Sala shows up and punches him.
Yep, Saul is back. Favorite character.
Loves Sala. And he's
You-
like, Indy!
You are a madman and a maniac if you yourself do not like Sala.
It also just helps it's like John Rhys Davies. He's just already a very charismatic human being.
He is.
Turns out Indy helped emigrate him and his family from Egypt to New York, and he's like a cab driver and stuff now. Makes sense.
It does.
Turns out Helena is a contraband auctioneer and is headed to Morocco/Tangier for an auction. And Indy's like, that's where I need to go. And so Sala takes him to the airport. Sala went back to his apartment, got his Indy gear. And Sala's like, I got my bag too. He's like, this isn't an adventure. And I love Sala's speech here. He's like, I miss the desert. I miss the sea. I miss waking up every morning not knowing what adventure will bring to us. Like,
It was a very heartfelt speech, to say the least.
it's such a reminiscent thing because you realize like there's adventures that these guys were on that we never got to see.
Oh, absolutely.
Like there is like probably at least 10 adventures that because like Indy and his friends, there is like such connection and history to all of them. And like
yeah.
to think that we only see like a fraction of it is mind-boggling. And I love how much that Sala and Indy play it off like these guys are closer than brothers.
Oh, yeah.
And I love that their acting makes you feel it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's such good acting.
Probably because they've known each other since, what, first movie, second movie?
And before that,
They've known each other in real life for a while.
Yeah.
Probably.
and I'm gonna say a little slight cuss word here. Sala yells, "Give 'em hell, Indiana Jones!" just as he's about to get run over by a car.
Yeah. I love that part because it breaks the disillusion of the action hero stereotype of invincibility. And
And I love how Solid just like shrugs after that.
like, you are still in traffic, Indiana.
Very dangerous. You go first. It's like playing Frogger. You go first. um, but Indy flies to Morocco, and he is drinking again on the plane, reading some of Baz's old notes, and we get another flashback. And this part is set shortly before Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, I believe, and it is the last time Indy sees Baz and Helena. Baz has pretty much become completely obsessed. Like, he is past what Senior was for the Holy Grail
Right.
about this thing. And he's like, Archimedes was a mathematician, not, I forget how he words it. Because Baz is openly talking about time travel and like how dangerous it is and everything. He's like, it's fake, Baz. There's no way it's possible. And he's like, you're scaring your daughter. And so he takes it and he promises Baz he'll destroy it. And he leaves and he tells Helena, like, she should be fine in a few days. And then the flashback ends with us cutting to Helena essentially having the same exact flashback. Then we get our classic Indy travel montage. I wouldn't say it's the best one. It's definitely the most CGI one out of all of them. And like the thing is, like, the one in Kingdom of the Crystal Skull's not bad, but they use like actual footage in the background for that one. This one felt completely CGI. It's because it's Disney, everybody. Practical effects mean nothing. Caden, what do you have to say about that?
CGI can. Oh, my bad. CGI can be done very, very well if it is done correctly. You need to animate it properly. If you can't do it properly, practical effects top CGI. There is no debate in my mind. CGI, honestly, I can believe it to be more expensive,
Mm-hmm.
take longer. The only downside with practical effects is like big monster movies. You can't do stuff like that.
Yeah.
Big sets, you can't do stuff like that. But that's why you animate small scenes.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not competent enough to do good CGI, don't do CGI. Movements. Do practical effects. Another downside of practical effects is if you don't get it right the first time, you gotta probably set everything up all over again.
Yeah.
But that's fine. That gives authenticity.
Yeah. Because like look at like the first Evil Dead movies.
Oh yeah.
Like how much of that was trial and error?
Probably more than we'll ever know.
Oh yeah. Um we arrive at Tangier in the hotel where the auction's taking place. We meet our third quote unquote main character. His name is Teddy. He's Helena's short round.
Don't call him that. He's
He
nowhere close to short round, and you know better.
he's Dollar General short round.
Not even that.
He's Dollar Tree short round.
Not even that.
He's gutter trash short round.
What? He's the Salvation Army short round.
I mean, Like the only upside this kid has is that he can fly a plane for the first time somehow and not ever having to been flown a plane before.
I don't know. We're not gonna comment on it.
um,
Anger fuels me thinking about it any further,
that's fair. Indy interrupts the auction.
as he does.
He says it's mine and it's not for sale. And Jurgen Voller shows up.
You about said
I
Mergen.
did have to say Jurgen Mergen.
So, quick little information. Jurgen Mergen is what we name a lot of our video characters, or video game characters, just for fun.
Especially in like the Elder Scrolls universe.
And it's just, I have Jurgen Voller's name down as Jurgen Mergen. And that's got Logan so messed up now, and I love that.
Well, it's because like whenever I was like my first playthrough for the Oblivion remaster,
We named it Jurgen
because you
Mergen.
use like because like you were there when I was creating my character. It's like I dare you to name him Jurgen Mergen. I dare you. And I was like, yeah, what of it? I named him Jurgen Mergen. And then like every time I have a victory, Jurgen Mergen rules all. So like Jurgen Mergen is like in my brain. It's like etched in there somewhere. I'm sure of it, but it's fine.
So he's got to fight that instinction over Jurgen Voller.
Yeah,
Uh,
Jurgen Mickelson.
Whatever you want to call him, just as long as you don't get him mixed up.
Nothing trumps the
Jurgen Mergen.
the hero of Kvatch, Jurgen Mergen.
All right, you're getting into real nerd territory.
Shh, it's fine. What movies are we watching right now?
I don't know.
That's fair. A bad one.
I wouldn't even consider it Indiana Jones.
And this is the part where he uses whip again for the last time in the franchise.
Which, like, I understand, because before that, he did all of his own whip stunts
Mm-hmm.
involving swinging around, so.
And this whip was clearly CGI because he like cracks it over a group of people. So like you can't like do that.
Without hurting someone.
I'm sure OSHA loves it, but whatever.
It's not their movie.
And this is another thing that one of his comedy moments. He does that and everybody pulls out a gun and he's just like,
He ducks under the table.
like his eyes get like super big. He's like, then he ducks under the table. And then like all of chaos comes out. Schmidt grabs the dial, or Jurgen Voller, whichever name you prefer to call him. It doesn't really matter. Nothing matters in this movie.
Hey, stop with the nihilistic approach.
Sorry, Harrison Ford matters in this
There
movie.
there you go.
Then we get a dinghy chase. I'm not sure that's what they're called, but they're little golf cart looking things that lasts about a good solid 15 minutes, and it doesn't need to.
It's not a bad chase. It's just,
It's very repetitive.
yeah.
And
Turn here. No, I'm going to turn here. Turn there. No, I'm turning here.
it's mostly just Teddy and Helena berating Indy on his driving techniques.
Yeah.
I think that's what makes it long. And we realize that Helena was engaged to a mobster. Now the mobsters are chasing him as Indy and them were chasing after Schmidt or Voller, whatever you want to call him. And then actiony stuff happens. It's really weird to say because like they're hopping from one dinghy to another. It's essentially Indiana Jones type stuff.
Without the Indiana Jones aspect, really.
Yeah, because now Helena's jumping from car to car, and Indy's like barely doing Indy stuff, and Schmidt escapes with the dial, and Mason is the CIA woman. Realize I wrote her name down on the second page. Well, you gotta admit, she's only in like 2 scenes, and this is the second scene.
Yeah.
She's like, your thing is up. Go get your medal. You had to have a military escort out of this country. You know, you needed. It's over, and he shoots her.
Yeah.
And that's when he like announces like, "Hey, I'm a Nazi, bro.
Always have been, always will be.
What of it?" And so, Indy, I'm calling him Team Indy from now on because I don't really want to say their names because I don't like the characters. Um, we have, and like this is another little scene. They're like, "Dude, you're wrong. That will never possibly work." And Indy just proves them wrong. That's like the only good victory about some of the dialogue in this movie.
Yeah.
It's just the fact that Indy proves them wrong every single time.
And it's always funny.
Yeah, because
See-
like there's always an eye roll or a kind of response.
Like, they don't believe him when he's been doing this longer than they've been alive.
Yeah, and like I think most of it is because he's old,
Yeah.
and that's like part of the thing I hate about this movie. It's like kicking the old horse when he's down. You know what I mean? Like he already really doesn't have much will to live because he doesn't like his life, obviously. And like, oh hey, here, like, how about a punch in the gut, old man? You like that? Hey, you're stupid. Ugh.
We don't like you. You're stinky. You're wrinkly. You're old. Ugh. Grandpa.
That's probably in the extended cut of the movie.
Grandpa Ford.
Grandpa Ford the Explorer.
Shut up.
Another inside joke. And we learn that they're probably headed to Greece to find the Graphicos, which is a hidden map that tells where the other half of the dial is. And we're probably about officially halfway through the movie. Like, I don't want to iterate this. This movie is slow as molasses. So Team Indy heads to Greece, and they realize that the Graphicos is underwater, so they need a diver. Indy introduces them to my third favorite character of this movie. His name is Rennie. He is a friend of Indy's from way back, and he is Puss in Boots. Antonio Banderas has entered the Indiana Jones chat. And he does Antonio Banderas things. Like the entire time he's on screen. And it's awesome. He literally eats up every scene he's in. Like he just is Antonio Banderas. Like there's no real acting necessary. And Indy and Helena start to heal their relationship at this point in the movie, quote unquote heal, quote unquote relationship. And this scene is the best acting in the movie.
It devastated me.
Especially after watching 4.
Yeah.
So we learn that. So Helena essentially asks him, like, hey, if you could time travel, where would you do? And he pretty much told her, I would stop my son from enlisting. So this is the first time he's mentioned Mutt the entire movie.
Yeah.
Mutt joined the army. He went over to Vietnam. And she asks him, so what would you have said? Or did he join to despite you, to please you? And he says he did it to piss me off. Because Indy was a soldier. He didn't want that for his son.
Right.
And she was like, well, how would you have stopped him? He said, I would have told him he's going to die. That the loss would end him and Marion's marriage. And that they would find no end to their grief. That Indy would be helpless to console Marion because He's not able to open up himself, so he's not able to help her heal. And this is Harrison Ford's best acting in the franchise.
And
It's a gut-wrenching thing.
especially because we just watched 4, I actually teared up a little bit. I'm like, dude, I love that character. He was so good.
They grew like so close with the
So
chemistry and everything so fast.
quickly, yeah.
And then you think about it, in the first part when we see his apartment, there is a picture of Mutt on one of his shelves with like one of those flags that they give the parents that's like folded up in the box or whatever. So like they kind of essentially teased it already. And that gets Helena to shut up real quick.
Yeah.
First best thing in the movie, This one, when we get our diving scene, it's all right. It's like flares and eels. It's a big old CGI fest again.
Yeah, it's nothing to write home about.
Then the Nazis board the ship and they shoot Rennie.
Yeah.
I raged at this part. He's like, Indy, don't tell them anything. Shot. Puss in Boots, another life lost, my friend. Then Helena does some kind of fancy like word play or whatever, buys time.
So
She solves like the puzzle or whatever.
it's 2 different deciphers at once.
Mhm.
I can't remember what they're called.
Me neither. It doesn't matter.
She figures them out, but while she's doing that, she pulls out a stick of dynamite, lights it, and throws it at the other guys.
And so they blow up the ship. Indy and them escape on the ship that the Nazis arrived on. And they're like, wasn't that cool? And then he's like, my friend was just murdered. They're like,
Oh yeah, my bad, dog.
sorry.
You'll get over it.
And then they find the real Graphicos, and it's like melted wax and
On solid metal or
like
wood.
ancient Athenian gold, like gold.
Something that won't melt.
Yeah.
Or catch fire.
Something like that, essentially. Then they're buying supplies to go archaeologing, I guess you want to call it, cave exploring.
Spelunking. That's the real word when you're cave exploring.
A word of the day, everybody.
Spelunking.
Look it up on the dictionary. We don't want to.
Please don't. I'm probably wrong.
Not spelunky. Spelunking. And then Teddy gets kidnapped by the Nazis.
Shocker.
And then Indy and Helena find the cave that the Graphicos talks about. And this is when we get the climbing scene that I was talking about. He's like, I've been shot 9 times, been forced to drink the blood of Kali. I'm 80 feet in the air climbing a wall. I'm 80 years old. It's like the most like...
He was not having a good time.
And Helena made a comment. He's like, I don't want to talk to you anymore. Just keep going. It's like the most old people thing when you realize they're making them work.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, like, how would you feel? You're 80 years old climbing up a rock wall with no safety gear or whatever, and it's purely freehand.
Mildly concerned.
He's like, I got plates in one knee, screws in the other. Like, hey,
both hips replaced.
More power to you, bro. Like, cool.
At that point, he's becoming more Iron Man than Indy.
It's more of Captain America, and we know it. Then we find I'm calling this the water displacement room.
Big puzzle full of carbon monoxide or dioxide.
Carbon dioxide.
Whatever it is that kills you really quickly.
Yeah.
And what they need to do is they need to figure out how to get out of the room.
Yeah, and there's like skeletons in the door, and Helena's trying to open the door, and then he's like, they didn't get out that way. Look at the bones. And he's like, wait a minute. Archimedes was thrilled by water displacement. So he just starts throwing stuff in the water and it works and it turns into a giant water slide. Probably the first one in history, my guess.
I mean, probably.
I mean, the man invented time travel, so I'm sure he knew about water slides.
Or something equivalent.
Water slide adjacent.
First ever water slide was just water going down a very dirty road.
Yeah. It was Italy. They like that kind of stuff. Greece or whatever. It was something like that. And this is when we get what I am titling the drowning of Big Boy.
Yeah,
This part is horrendous.
it's a horrible way to go.
So this big guy is handcuffed to Teddy,
Big Nazi,
big Nazi.
which we didn't mention, but the Nazis are right on.
Yeah.
Team Indy's tail.
And so they're like crossing this really rickety bridge, and this guy's like terrified of this bridge, and Teddy just starts like messing with him, and they fall into the water, and they hit like this grate underwater, and so Teddy's able to go through this small hole in it,
Yeah.
and he
Uncuffs.
uncuffs himself. It's been a long day, all right?
Yeah, you're telling me.
And he handcuffs the guy to the grate to drown.
Yeah.
That is
no.
horrifying.
Especially for like a 13-year-old to think of.
God. It's just manslaughter, at 13 years old. It's fine.
They'll never find it. That's the thing. You got to think about it. Water erosion. Microbacteria will eat that body alive shortly after it dies. And if microbacteria doesn't, the constant water stream will erode the flesh, clothes, and eventually the bone and metal into nothing. Before anybody even realizes that guy's gone. Not like he'd mattered much.
Because he was a Nazi, but
he's turned into the river itself.
that is just terrifying to think about. I don't want to die like that. Burning, drowning. Don't want either one of them.
I'd much rather burn than drown.
I'd much rather get shot than either one of them.
Trust me, as a guy with asthma, I know what it's like to suffocate. It's not fun.
Then we find Archimedes' tomb. And we find the other half of the dial. We also find he's wearing a wristwatch in his tomb. And there's like etchings on his coffin. There's like a bird with like propellers, weirdly enough. And these guys are like,
What does it mean?
does this thing actually work? And of course, the Nazis show up.
Start messing stuff up again, like they do.
And he takes it back, and there's a shootout. Indy gets shot in the chest. And he tells Helena to run. They take him captive.
Big gunfight.
Like the only like real action thing Indy's done since, dear God, the first hour of this movie. Because like the last 5 minutes of what I've been talking about is like literally like an hour of the movie. Helena steals a motorcycle. Voller reveals his plans to kill Hitler and become the new Fuhrer. And like Indy's like, what kind of Nazi wants to kill Hitler? He's like, the smart ones.
Something like that. I
Like-
don't think that's how that works, though.
But then you kind of realize like this guy is actually kind of a villain.
He's a smart guy. That's the problem.
And so they follow the coordinates that the dial was giving them, and it looks like something out of Star Wars. Kind of. You can only tell because Disney Lucasfilm, everybody.
Yeah.
They fly into the eye of the storm, and Teddy's flying his first plane. He's like right behind them, and I love how I wrote this down. I'm not allowed to say it, but Indy's essentially just taunting Voller and saying, "You're wrong. You're stupid. How could you figure this in your equations, man? Come on." And this guy's like had it like up to here. He's like, "Shut up, everybody, shut up." And they realize they're in the Battle of Syracuse, not um World War II. And like the Romans and everything, they have like their gigantic spears and stuff, and everybody thinks it's like a dragon. And then mustache Nazi, I'm gonna call him that. I'm not sure what his name was. He just like opens the door and just starts shooting machine guns at everybody. That's like his go-to thing, is just shooting things.
Oh yeah, because he was actually the one that shot the FBI agent, right?
Schmidt did that.
Mm,
Voller, whatever you want to call him.
the guy.
The guy. And so Helena's aboard the ship, the plane, sorry. And the Nazis are starting to die in Indiana Jones ways, extremely violently.
As they deserve, though.
Indy and Helena grab a parachute and they jump out, and the Nazis die in a fiery explosion. You know how you do, I suppose. Indy,
I'm sure that had some effect on
the timeline.
Yeah, maybe a little.
Indy and Helena meet Archimedes, and we realize that the dial is always meant to take whoever uses it to that moment, because he built it to get help in stopping the siege.
Which, I mean, technically, very, very technically, he did that.
I mean, it makes it to where like the point like it's always meant to happen, and makes it in like a fixed loop
Yeah.
time travel situation. Which that's better than them saying like, "Oh well, you being here will create this branching timeline, is where this will be fixed or whatever." I would have much rather had that for the ending of the movie.
Which we had some kind of conversation about time travel before. It was a very long conversation.
That's gonna need to be like a YouTube video where like we wear lab coats and a whiteboard and we try to explain different theories of time travel to everybody.
And everything is immediately disproven.
Just punches the whiteboard. Like, fine, listen to the actual scientists. Who cares?
Yeah, don't listen to the funny guys online or anything.
But Helena is somehow able to knock out Indiana Jones with one punch. We had our thoughts about that.
Which honestly makes sense, especially since he's just been shot.
And he's bleeding out, and he's 80 years old. He wakes up in his home. Sala, Helena, and Teddy are there. And Marion shows up. And I'm pretty sure this is their first time meeting since the papers were drawn up, I'm going to guess.
Probably.
And it doesn't say how long they were in separation limbo for. My guess is probably about a year, so maybe it would be my guess.
Well, how long ago was it when Mutt died?
They don't confirm that. They don't give us really any kind of timetable at all.
I would say about 5 years.
Vietnam escalated in 1967. That would probably be my guess when he gets sent over there. So my guess at most would be 2 years. And in this scene they do the "Where Doesn't It Hurt" from Raiders.
Yeah.
This part made me cry in the theater. I was like, hey. And I wrote down "happily ever after?" ?
Yes.
Because like, yeah, they kind of reconcile ish. Like, it's not confirmed nor denied. But, like, that's like my biggest issue with the movie. They gave us a happy ending for the character. He has a family. He's got everything he could want in 4. Nah, let's make him depressed and alone.
Yeah.
It's very uncharacteristic.
Very unprofessional. You already have a very good established ending, even if a lot of fans didn't like it.
Yeah. And like even then you have a character that could potentially carry on the franchise.
Yeah.
And a
Nah.
charismatic character at that. Like I understand Shia LaBeouf's not everybody's cup of tea. I understand that. But these movies aren't made for wide audience. They're made for a very specific group of audience. And people need to understand that when they're making a movie. Like horror people who make horror movies, they make horror movies for horror fans.
Yeah.
They don't make it for kids. They don't make it for people who are watching Pixar. They make it for people who they know are going to watch it.
Yeah.
Those are the movies that everybody loves. The ones that set out to make something specific and they know that that audience is going to watch it. This was Disney's way of saying like, hey,
We don't care.
we have the franchise, we bought it, we might as well do something with it. And it was an utter waste.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
And here's the new part, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Real Bros Ranking Show.
Arbor. Dumb.
We're going to have t-shirts made that just says
Arbor.
in like an exclamation point afterwards. Okay. Caden, do you want to go first or do you want me to go first?
I'll go first because mine's going to be real simple. Believe it or not, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. First place.
Okay.
Dial of Destiny. Very bottom. Raiders of the Lost Ark. Raiders of the Lost Ark. I'm gonna place that probably third.
That's fair.
Temple of Doom. Probably second,
Okay.
and then whatever the last one was.
The Last Crusade.
Yeah.
Okay. For me, I would have to say Dial of Destiny, dead last.
Something we agree on.
Fourth place, I would put Temple of Doom. Just because it's just kind of a departure. It was a darker film. Didn't really tonally connect with any of the others. At least the other 4 had like essential kind of through line and vibe to it. In third place, I would put I would put Raiders of the Lost Ark. While yes, it is the quintessential action adventure movie. I mean, like it's essentially an action serial that they just wrote a story around action set pieces.
Yeah.
To me, like I love the movie. I love all of them except for 5. I love all of them, and they move their places whenever I watch them. But like, it just seemed kind of hollow to me. I know it kind of sets the foundations for what all the other ones were, but it doesn't seem as driven to me. Second place, I would put Kingdom of the Crystal Skull because it has the same kind of tone as Last Crusade does, and it does more with Indy's character. It allows him to have a family. It allows him to expand his horizons of caring for things other than just work and research. And like he's a war-worn veteran.
Yeah.
One of his friends betrays him in the movie. He learns he has a son. Like, come on. Like, these are big things, and I think they handled it really, really well.
Oh, absolutely.
And in first place, no surprise, Last Crusade. My reasons are the entire episode we did on Last Crusade last season. um, but yeah, I love these movies, most of them anyway. Um,
One thing. My options for 2, 3, and 4 are interchangeable, really.
like,
It's just, for me, Crystal Skull seems to stand out the most. It just feels the most lighthearted while still having that Indiana feel
it's
to it.
like it has the most fun being absurd in like that B movie
Oh, absolutely.
range, and it just goes for it, and I love it. And like, and it's crazy to think that that's almost what we didn't get,
Yeah.
and I'm so thankful we got what we got.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
Um, I was gonna say something else. Oh yes, when this some point, but down below on this episode, I'm gonna put out a poll. I'm gonna have everybody vote on their favorite Indiana Jones movie and see what we get. Also, comment on us. Comment your rankings. Let us know what your rankings are. We're curious to hear what you guys think. If you guys love Dial of Destiny, tell us why. We're curious. We want to know like what you saw.
Like, no offense. We genuinely want to know, like, what movie you like. If you like Dial Destiny, good for you. It's not our pick. If it is yours, that's fine.
It's like uh what Sean Chandler says. It's not the list. It's just my list.
Exactly. There's a
um.
whole reason our season 1 was our top 10.
Mm-hmm. Not your top 10 because we don't know you.
Appreciate you for listening, though.
Oh, absolutely. And this is our first franchise we finished. Yay
Whoop,
for us.
whoop. The next one. Oh, go ahead.
The next one finishes another franchise.
Yeah, it's very quick.
It's Zombieland Double Tap.
Oh yeah. And I'm excited for that. I like the Zombieland franchise altogether.
Yeah, hey, in 3 years we might get Zombieland 3, get the every 10 years thing. Just
Triple
kinda...
tap.
It just, no, it's Zombieland 3 extra large. Something like that. All the Homer zombies are like, ooh. I love Zombieland.
Yeah, Zombieland.
I'm
excited for that one.
Oh yeah, it's been a minute since I've seen that one.
Same.
Well, I am Logan Thomas,
I'm Caden Green,
and this has been the Real Bros Podcast. We'll see you guys next week.
All right, bye-bye.